in Delhi. Delhi was far more limited in marrying a Brahmshatri, marrying a Kshatriya, marrying a Christian or a Hindu or which only came to me when I was 18 years old.
Did gender ever play a part in what you had to do? I mean,
well, gender only played a part when I began commentating, because for Films Division, I used to do all their commentaries for Newsweek and things. And there, the men at that time used to be paid more than the women, and they also got more opportunities than the women did. But we fought for it. And then we were much better than any of them.
Undoubtedly, undoubtedly, you've been an inspiration as a voice and as a face, an inspiration for generation upon generation. Actually, it's just I can't begin to tell you how much of an honor it is to actually be sitting here and asking those questions that have been, whirling around in the head for so long. But as you said, debates, declamation, they are, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, they're about nuance. And we seem to be losing the nuance of the debate increasingly. The blacks and the whites seem to be taking over rather than the grays or the colors. Would you agree?
Yeah, but then look, this was generations ago. Right. The world has changed. Right. Look at what has happened today. I mean, I'd hate to get into a political discussion over that, but things have changed. We were so confident, we were so accepting of everybody. It doesn't matter what food you ate, whether you knelt down or you stood up and prayed, or you bent down or you rang bells, or none of that mattered, Yeah. And or how you dressed, or what language you spoke. And I'm very fortunate that I belong to Defense Services, and I think the Defense Services has a lot to do with it of that time. Even the Defense Services has changed today. But at that time, you could be living, you did, your next door neighbor, but you never asked who they were or what they were. They sent food to you, you sent food to them. There was no demarcation and discrimination of any kind at that time.
Also, I think ideas are increasingly also becoming subservient to agendas. Sometimes they're also being weaponized. You think that's a fertile ground for arts to flourish, or is that a threat?
No, I think it's a good thing for art to flourish. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm saying that ideas are becoming more and more of an agenda for a lot of people. Some ideas are also being weaponized in a sense to serve a certain narrative. Do you think that's a good...
I'm sorry, but that has all happened in the recent years. We didn't have that. I mean, being in the theatre or in debates or anything, you talked about every issue that existed. Right. You celebrated every issue that existed. And it's only recently that if you speak out, you're suddenly either imprisoned or stoned, or people come and beat you, or that kind of. It never happened before. And it's a sad reflection on what the young people are facing today, because their minds are getting limited. They are not as open as we were, and sadly, COVID has made it even worse. But I mean, we had such a happy upbringing. And yes, we were passionate about the independence at the time and fighting for that and revered everybody who stood for that. But at the same time, remember, we were brought up from the British system. All our education system was British. But it was a fairly equitable kind of system. The British didn't tell you either that you become a Christian and therefore only you can do this. You had none of those demands on your... And your parents didn't tell you what to do or what not to do.
Sure.
You respected everyone, and that's the kind of world I want.
But have you personally experienced any shrinkage of the creative space that you occupy?
Do you know, shrinkage certainly, but became aware of it in Delhi. Delhi was far more limited in marrying a Brahmshatri, marrying a Kshatriya, marrying a Christian or a Hindu or which only came to me when I was 18 years old. Before that, we had no awareness of that kind of thing. But suddenly, when you became of marriageable age, you began to feel what the parents were saying, not grandparents, I didn't interact with too many grandparents, but that's when you became aware of these kind of limitations and narrow-mindedness of the human mind.